anything with the right plan. God for moving like a mountain where I stand, a better life for my fam. Yeah. I've been there before. What if I fight to fight? Would I need 1,000 books to write? Yeah. I've been there before. Everything I go alright. Remember the darkest part of the night. It's just before daylight. If walls could attack and expose my thoughts, man, me no know me survive. Me pill I know the weight of the burden me carrying every night on my mind. The only people me can turn to, I be the worst to. Life no always fun, but better must come. This one is for all who want give up and done.
I've been there before. Romain Virgo featuring Massacre. Talk about reality. But it is now 12:30 and it is time for Road to Success, the journey. Now, after 17 years as a registered nurse, this Sentan native pivoted to pursue a life of coaching, helping others to overcome their fears and self-limiting beliefs. Charlene Vassell Wright is the founder and CEO of CVW Saving Lives Inc., a nonprofit organization that helps at-risk youth, life coach, and author. Through her coaching, writing, and nonprofit initiatives, Charlene continues to make a profound impact, fostering resilience, promoting mental wellness, and guiding individuals on their paths to success. And today we're absolutely honored that she could take time out of her busy schedule to take us on her journey on the road to success. Charlene, welcome, good afternoon, and thank you for taking time out to make this happen.
Thank you, Kashima. Thank you for having me. Such an honor to be here.
Awesome. Now let's just jump right in it and kick things off, with your foundation. How would you describe your upbringing and where did you grow up?
All right. So big up to Ocherius. That's how I'm going to start this live, right? So I was born in St. Anne, Jamaica, right? I actually grew up in Pineapple Place, and I just wanted to just emphasize that on the line. So Pineapple Place, Ocherius, went to Columbus Preparatory School, then off to Westwood High School, and then from Westwood went to the University Hospital of the West Indies, where I did nursing, and then I migrated to the US, and I'm living in the US at this time.
Okay, but in terms of your childhood, I know that now the children know, them stay inside and them play upon them devices and stuff. But in your time, I'm sure you had to be outside. Describe some of that and how you got to know yourself and who was Charlene Vassell then.
Well, like how you put it like that. So, your story is not a story without your beginning, right? So, for me, I grew up in Pineapple Place. That's where my grandmother lived at the time. Well, she still lives there. But I grew up in Pineapple Place, and at the time, there is this stigma with that area. Nothing good comes out of Pineapple. Nothing good comes out of that section of Ocherius. And so one at a time, like I couldn't even go outside to play with the other kids because my grandmother would be like, you have to study your book, you have to do your homework. So at one point I was grown very sheltered, I felt so isolated because I couldn't play with the others. But then when she wasn't there, I would like steal out of the house and, go play with the others, because for me, there was no segregation. I felt like, we're all kids. I don't know what it means to be segregated or isolated. So had the love and support of my family, very sociable person, and came from really humble beginning. There was one instrumental person in my life growing up as a child, and that was the Custos of Saints and Dr. Tomlinson. My grandmother used to work for him at the time, and I used to go to the office when I come from school in the afternoons, and I would be there. And this man was so instrumental in my life. Most of the goals and the attributes that I have today is contributed towards his input in my life.
Wow, Charlene, that is absolutely amazing. And I love how you talk about grandma a lot. So in terms of your mom and dad, were they around, or was it grandma who sort of instilled values in you that still resonate with you today, Charlene Vassell, the woman?
So it's both my grandmother and my mother. My father wasn't around. My mom and my dad split up when I was about 2 years old, right? And so that broken family, I was a part of that broken family, single parent. So I knew who my father was. He's Vincent Vassell. He was a police officer of Saint Anne, but he wasn't in my life, being in the household or, creating any great impact. I just know who he was. And, sometimes I would see him, but most of the impact is from my mother and my grandmother.
And that situation that you describe, sadly, it is something that a lot of us, especially in Jamaica, like we are from, like the broken home, broken family, that sort of thing, and so unfortunate that a lot of us, like, we did not grow up with a dad around.
Yes.
Did that bear any impact on you during your early life, and did you understand, like, daddy was not around, and were you impacted by that any at all?
Yes, both negatively and positively. So there was an aspect of my life where I was searching for that father figure. So I would search for it in wrong places, got into relationships that I wasn't supposed to get into just because I was searching for that father figure. And then the positive side to it was because of who he was as a police officer. Um, it's kind of impacted me in the way that you need to be upright, you need to do good things and stuff like that. And funny enough, there's a spin to the story that now that my father is passed away, may his soul rest in peace. I mourn him daily. Last week was his birthday, and it's like it just hit me like, wow, I miss my dad. I wish, we had spent so much more time together. I wish I get to understand him more, because what happened was he was robbed of something that he could not give to me.
Wow, that is really, really powerful. And it is a testament for persons who are going through a similar situation to use the time that you have now to make amends if you can. And we do understand that it is easier said than done, because most importantly, you have to heal first.
Yes, yes.
Now, let's go now from Columbus Prep to Westwood
Right?
High School. How would you describe Charlene Vassell in the classroom?
So going back to Westwood, this is so funny. So going back to Westwood, if I can remember, I was a spin of a quiet person, but also outgoing. So I was the friendly, bubbly Charlene. I was friends with, like, with everybody. Very active. I was in a lot of extracurricular activities. I love to dance. At one point I thought I would be a professional dancer because, back in the days, on
Charlene
Australia,
Ravers.
yes, I would be at on the quad, we would just be dancing. I used to board at Westwood at the time. So quiet but still sociable, very friendly person, always helping. All the helping communities, for example, Builders Club, Key Club, Circle K. I was a part of those.
And after high school, because you've spent so many years in healthcare, did you know immediately after high school that this is the industry that you wanted to be a part of? And how did that happen?
So honestly, it wasn't the industry I wanted to be a part of. As a matter of fact, I thought I was going to be a dancer because that's all. I love dancing, right? But I think where the healthcare came in was because, as I shared earlier, that my godfather at the time was Dr. Tomlinson. And because he was a doctor, the mindset and the culture, like, you have to become a doctor. So it was implored upon me that I had to be a part of the medical field. As a matter of fact, for some family members, it's a disappointment for me being a nurse because they thought that, that's you should have become a doctor. So um, I applied for the sciences at UWI, right? Because, okay, I have to go be a medical doctor. But while I was there, I just knew that I didn't want to do the long years, the 5 years of, in school. So I just decided to just do nursing. And also there was a nurse at the time who was living across from me, and this was in Marine Gardens. So I moved from Pineapple Place and I went to Marine Gardens, which is in James Avenue. And there was this nurse who lived next to me. And she was very instrumental in my life at the time and a role model. And I just love how she was just so compassionate, and she would just talk about her patients. And I'm like, but I seem to be that kind of person. So nursing would be fitting at the time. So it all just gelled in. time.
Wow, I love how that, it turned out eventually almost like it was divinely orchestrated. But then did you at any point in time like feel torn in terms of family members thinking that, you should go in medicine and the doctor is definitely the path for you? Did at any point in time it felt overwhelming because in your heart, you wanted to do something else?
No, not initially. I would say in the latter part, like now when I transition
Mm-hmm.
outside of nursing, that's when, that feeling start to arise. But initially, no, I didn't care, what they thought
Mm-hmm.
or what they believe at the time. Because again, I said I really didn't want the medical field, right? But I just chose nursing because of what was happening at the time. And it felt like it was the right thing.
Mm-hmm. No, take us a little bit now into you starting nursing, this new profession. Were you initially excited about it, getting your feet wet? And what was that first experience like for you?
So to be honest, I think medicine is just a part of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the way I think, the way I analyze, everything is about the body, it's about science, how you're made up, how you're built up. So I wouldn't just label and say nursing because even as a nurse in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
people say to me, I think you should be a doctor, just how your brain operates.
Mm-hmm.
But starting nursing school, yes, it was exciting because you know what? I was moving away from Otrias to Kingston. I was
Yes.
living the whole corporate city lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine, we would go out every night, if I can say that. We would go
Mm-hmm.
out every night, so it was just a transition from, coming from the country in Ocherias and then coming to
Mm-hmm.
Kingston. So that was the highlight for me, more the partying. If we want to be transparent and honest, it was more the partying than actually going to school or becoming
Mm-hmm.
a nurse.
But then the beauty about that story, though, Charlene, is just your transformation into the field and how you have applied yourself and excelled. But before we get to you excelling around 2012, you migrated to the U.S. How would you also describe this transition, and what were some of the challenges that you encountered as you integrate into the United States healthcare system in comparison to Jamaica?
All right. So it was difficult initially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in transition, when you're coming from an external country to the US, you have to sit a board exam. It's called the NCLEX. I must say, on the first try, I wasn't successful on the exam, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that, coming with this vast experience as a registered nurse in Jamaica, coming to do this exam, I thought I was ready, I was prepared. I was also teaching in a nursing program at the time when I transitioned. So I thought I had that knowledge set, but it wasn't about knowledge at the time. It was just about how to answer the questions. It was there was a tactics into answering the
Mm-hmm.
questions, right? So I failed on the first attempt. Second attempt, I actually passed on the third attempt, right?
Wow.
So that delayed my transition into getting a job in the hospital. So that period of time, I had to be waiting, I had to be studying. Um, so that was rough. And then the next piece now, when I was successful and I went into the hospital in the healthcare industry, the difference was for me, the technology and some of the cases that we do. So one part, there was a good and a bad. So I was de-skilled in a certain kind of way because when I left Jamaica, I was already a skilled nurse. I was a critical care nurse. I work in the ICU.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to the US, there's a lot of specialty areas. So you can't really exercise all your skills because they have specialty. So you would have to depend on, say, the respiratory therapist to conduct certain things for the patient, while in Jamaica you had a lot of autonomy and power to do a lot of things because it's
Mm-hmm.
more general nursing, right? In Jamaica we would do wound care, while in the US you had a wound specialist. So in that era was de-skilled, but the advantage was I was working at a transplant hospital at the time, and we weren't exposed to transplant in Jamaica. So I had to learn new skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
One sore point for me. So in Jamaica, I had a diploma in nursing, and Jamaica, I think at the time didn't promote education and credentialing. So when I went to the US, I had a diploma. I did not have a degree. And in that time, they were moving in the space where to be a manager or to move up into leadership or authority, you had to have had a degree. So I was
Mm-hmm.
in a space where I was so experienced and I had all this wealth of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. but then could not go up the ladder because I did not have a degree. Right. So that was frustrating for me. I had to be, so because of the wealth of knowledge I had, I was coaching, I was teaching new nurses, even young nurses who were coming into the hospital space, and then they turn around and became managers over me just because I didn't have a degree. So that was frustrating. But the good part of that was I was resilient enough to bounce back, to know that, listen, you have to climb this ladder. If you want more, you have to work harder. So I went back to school and then completed my bachelor's degree.
That is awesome. Look here now. Love it, love it, love it. No, and then this now takes us to how you were excelling in the field, because nurse manager, clinical nursing coordinator, plus leadership roles, as you mentioned before, within organizations like Kiwani's Family and Children's Ministry, etc. What do you think was your distinguishing quality that allowed you to excel in such a fast-paced industry, even after you went to pursue your degree and so on?
I think it's my keen eye to details. I have a very keen eye to details. I am a nurturer by nature, right? I'm a caregiver. And those are qualities that I have. It doesn't matter which organization or which role I function in, right? And I have a very analytical mind. So I'm always getting to the root cause of things. So when I was in the healthcare industry, I would pick up things quickly, see things easily. There were things going on with patients. I was the voice for the patient. I was an advocate for the patient. So when, everybody, how in Jamaica we were taught is you should do a deep analysis of your patient and don't just rely on technology. In the US, most of the time they rely on technology more than just assessing the patient. So because I was coming from that background, I was able to catch things quickly. I was able to prevent deaths of patients because of how I operated.
That is awesome. We're going to go for a quick time signal. Don't go anywhere. We're on the road to success and we're journeying with Charlene Vassell Wright.
The Grace Kennedy Financial Group made life easy.
Visit GraceKennedyFinancialGroup.com. One group, one goal, for you to live a graceful life.
The time is...
It is now 12:46. If you're just joining us, we are on the road to success and we're journeying with Charlene Vassell Wright. Now, from hotels to hospitals or being a travel nurse, your 17-year journey in healthcare has seen you cover, several areas. And like you have been highlighting for us, is there a particular or a specific area of nursing that you prefer and why?
What I'm operating now, which is medical missions. So I get to operate outside of a controlled environment, outside of an institution. And the medical missions, we go to various countries and we help the underserved communities. So I operate as a nurse. I see the patients in the community. So that for me is more rewarding and fulfilling. I get more gratification in that area. Another area that I really like ICU. It's sad to say, but there is this adrenaline rush that I get when, you see, it's not the patients crashing. That's not it. It's when you see them come back to life and they have this opportunity. So it's so rewarding to me when a patient walks in limping and sick or on a life support machine, and then you see them come outside of the hospital, in a wheelchair, actually walking. That process is so rewarding to me.
Do you take it extremely hard in situations or instances when, you lose a patient, unfortunately? Does that weigh heavy on you? And what is your source to relieve yourself of that pressure, for want of a better term?
Funny enough, it doesn't affect me. I'm able to compartmentalize, even though I'm a very compassionate person. So how I would transition the emotions is work harder. So instead of their crying or, moping or feeling sorry for the patient, I work harder. So how do I work harder? I advocate, I call the doctor, I implement changes, implement strategies, make sure that we're doing everything possible to save this person's life.
And at the peak of your career, almost, you gave up certain for uncertain in pursuit of your passion to impact the lives of others. Take us back to this defining moment, Charlene. And was it scary stepping into the unknown?
It was very, very scary. So my mark date is March 4th, 2022. This was the height of my career. I was at the next level. I would have completed my bachelor's, going on to my master's. I was in my nurse practitioner program, but I was in a space where I felt like I was maxed out, and as the bio shows, I've been all over in nursing. I've really done a lot of things in the healthcare industry. But I was at work and I felt like there was more within me, right? More that I felt like one part I was dying because I'm not feeding that emotion or the energy or the potential that needed to be born, right? So, but I had an awakening moment where I know that, you know what, I'm in this space and I no longer belong in this space. There was more. So I started to tap into who I really am, and that will kind of help you to navigate into where you need to go. So yes, I'm this nurturer, I'm a caregiver, I have an analytical mind, I love to support, I love to teach, but it doesn't mean that I'm only defined to nursing. So I started to, I wrote my resignation letter. Everybody thought I was crazy.
Was this something that you discussed with your family, talk it over with your husband, or you just kind of went on what you were feeling?
So it was just an epiphany. To be exact, I saw a patient. I was coming to work one day. This is the exact feeling I had. I was coming to work one day and I was like, God, show me a sign, because this is not it anymore. I feel like I'm gone from this space. And I went to work. I was working in the PACU, which is a post-anesthetic care unit when the patients come out of surgery, and went to work the morning, and I was the only high-level skilled nurse in the unit to take care of that patient. Patient had a craniotomy where they removed something from her brain. So she was at the bedside, and I went into transition mode because she was crashing. Fast forward the story, she woke up and she touched my hand and she was like, "You're so different. Thank you for saving my life. I could hear you while I was in coma." And, she was just sharing with me. Then all of a sudden she was like, I don't think you're supposed to be here anymore. Right.
Oh, wow.
And remember, in the morning, I was actually driving to work and I was praying and I'm saying, God, show me a sign. And then this woman woke up out of coma and telling me that you're no longer supposed to be here. She literally said, your body is here, but your spirit is not here. You're somewhere else. And that's what did it for me. I cried at the time, got myself together, went home. I told my husband and I said, this is it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to transition from the bedside. At first, I thought I was going to do event planning because I like to do parties and events.
But wait before you get into the event planning, was your husband initially supportive of this? Did he understood in the moment that this is something that you have to do?
To be honest, Kashiba, when I told him the night, he looked at me, right? He didn't say anything initially. Then my response was, because I was so strongly convicted, I'm not asking you your permission, right? I'm telling you, this is what I'm doing, but I need your support. And he looked away, then he looked back at me and he said, you know what? You're not crazy. And if this is what you want to do, I will support you. So
amazing.
If he meant it or not, I mean, initially, I don't know, but obviously he did because he's still here. But, he was very supportive because, you know what, he's like, if this is how you feel, I don't want to block you or rob you from what it is that you need to accomplish.
Wow. Let that sink in a little bit. But ultimately, somebody listening and they're thinking that, I am feeling exactly how you're feeling and I want to walk away from my job. But transitions, they can be really, really tough. What were some of the challenges that you experienced and how were you able to sort of maneuver them to get to where you are today?
All right, so transition, change is a must, and that's what you have to first identify and accept, right? And in the initial phase, you're gonna be unwilling to change because it's a disruption. You're taking me out of my normal routine
Your comfort
to
zone.
tell me or bring me to this new place. But I want to tap into the listeners, who may be resonating with what I'm saying or what I went through. You're going to have this stirring, this feeling that you're in this space that you should no longer be in. And you know that, listen, I'm not telling you to leave your job, right? But I'm saying to you, tap into that emotion, acknowledge what you're feeling, right? And then break down the levels, do some self-discovery, self-search, and see what it is that is calling to me, what it is that I need to do. So first, that was the call. I will call it the call. So I first I got the call that, listen, it's time to go. I responded to the call, right? And in responding to the call, that's when you start the transition. So I started to navigate in a space of the unknown. Remember, I'm coming from 17 years of healthcare to a place where I have no power, right? No power, no knowledge. So I had lack of knowledge in this new area. Lack of resources, right? Lack of finance. So there was a lot of disadvantage working against me, and I didn't have much support. So outside of my household, I didn't have much support because there were people who thought I was crazy, stupid. I mean, you're leaving your established job and security to do what? And the funny part is,
Wow.
Karima, the funny part is, at the beginning, I did not know exactly what it was that I was going to do. So there are some persons who may have it clear, figured out. Listen, I'm leaving 9 to 5, I'm leaving corporate to be an entrepreneur, or they have it figured out what they're gonna do. But there are some people who just know that I'm in this space and I'm no longer supposed to be in this space. There's an expiration date that I need to meet, but they don't know what is the next. And there's difficulty in going into the next. So going into the next, you have to be brave. You have to be courageous. You have to have confidence. You have to embrace authenticity. Like, know who you are first, right? Because you're going to come under so many attacks, so many naysayers, so many negativity, right? And you have to know who you are and own who you are and what it is that you desire. And I believe that as you continue to follow that voice, and that voice for me was God, as you continue to follow that voice, it will get clearer and clearer and clearer. So you know who you are. So when I started to peel back the layers and do the self-discovery, I started to identify who I am. And in who I am, I know where I need to go, right? So
And
I
it
know I
became
love to help
clearer.
others, right? I know I love to help others. I know I love to teach. I know I love to counsel, right? I'm good at giving strategies, right? Because I think success leave breadcrumbs, right? So it's because you're not picking up the breadcrumbs, you don't realize that, this is leading me to a path. You ever read Hansel and Gretel with the breadcrumbs to find a way home?
Yes.
Right. So I feel like success, right, or your destiny leave breadcrumbs. So sometimes if you just turn off the outside noise and just tap into yourself, you'll be able to see where you're going clearer. So
Yeah.
that's what happened for me.
And that's really great. That's a great analysis, and I think that you have really helped a lot of persons. The telephone operator is just giving me a nudge to say, look, a lot of persons are calling in, but when we get to that space, I will ask you the question. They want to know how they can get in touch with you and all of that, but we soon get there. During that time, Charlene, because like you mentioned, it wasn't clear to you, you weren't certain of the direction, and you did have naysayers, questioning your move. Did you at any point in time during that moment had any self-doubt and just thought to yourself that, am I making the right move? Is this the right decision? And how did you get over that point, that hurdle?
Oh gosh, self-doubt. So listen, when anybody tell you that they don't have self-doubt, don't believe them. It's not true, right? Especially in the initial phase. Like in the latter phase, yes, I know you get the boldness and the confidence, but yes, I was plagued with self-doubt, um, uncertainty, just lack of knowledge. I remember moving into entrepreneurship, right? Because I went and I started my MBA and I started my own business, and there was lack of knowledge. Like, remember, I was dealing with patients all my life. I'm dealing with people. I'm not technology savvy. So I had to now lean on people, depend on people. Sometimes I got so frustrated because some people either they rip me off or they talk bad things about me, or how comes you don't know this? I would not know this because I was never exposed to this kind of knowledge. So I had that to deal with. I felt there was a period of embarrassment that I went through, feeling so ashamed because you would hear them talk, oh, the established nurse.
Wow.
She
On
leave her
that
security
note,
job.
Charlene, don't lose that point. We have to break for the cash pot and then we're going to come right back. And that is such a solid point, but stick and stay.
When me use Island Fresh with aloe vera, it make me skin feel so much smoother. So if you want to feel better and smell fresher, use Island Fresh with aloe vera.
Manufactured by Island Products, 934-0666.
The time is...
It is now 12:59. We are standing by. Listen up. Your top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4. Hot pick and cash pots. Lunchtime draws up next.
Lucky day. Get your tickets out and let the games begin.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday, May 2, 2024. I'm Christina, and welcome to this afternoon's Supreme Ventures live game draw. Now, before we begin, here's a quick look at our mid-morning winning numbers. All live draws are supervised by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission and observed by the independent auditing firm PwC. Now let's put some money in your top draw. This afternoon's jackpot has once more climbed to $600,000. Here now are your winning top draw numbers. Now, your first winning top draw number for your lunchtime draw is the number 3. Your second winning number is a solid number 10. Coming up and down the line now is your third winning top draw number. That is the number 6. Your fourth winning number, what will it be? It's the number 8. And if you had plans for that $600,000, you're going to need the number 21. And now, let's pick your play with our dollars game. I hope you're feeling lucky. The winning dollars numbers are coming right at you. First up for dollars this afternoon, we have the number 6. Following that 6, coming down slowly but surely, is 15. What's it going to be next? Here it comes. That is the number 32. And right behind that 32 is ball number 22. Here comes the number 2. And I do hope you're getting these numbers right, because now, bringing us halfway there is the number 11. Following 11 is lucky number 7. As well as the number 25. What's coming down next? It's lucky number 13, and following 13 is the number 31. How are those spots looking so far? Because solid number 20 is next, and we're gonna wrap up our lunchtime dollars game with a count up to the number 21. Now, for some easy winnings with our Pick 2 game. Get those tickets out and let's play. Now, your first winning Pick 2 number for your lunchtime draw, here it comes. That's 18. Your second winning Pick 2 number is the number 11. So once again, the winning Pick 2 numbers are 18 and 11. Up next, you can play 3 ways. It's our Pick 3 game. Here we go. Now, your first winning Pick 3 number for your lunchtime draw is the number 2. Your second winning Pick 3 number is the number 1. Your third and final winning Pick 3 number, what will it be? It's the number 5. So once again, the winning Pick 3 numbers are 2, 1, and 5. Now it's time to turn up your winnings. Get ready for Pick 4. And the balls are bubbling up for us this afternoon. What's it gonna be? Your first winning Pick 4 number is the number 1. Your second winning Pick 4 number is the number 6. Your third winning Pick 4 number for your lunchtime draw, here it comes. It's also 6, and your final winning Pick 4 number, what will it be? It's lucky number 7. So once again, the winning Pick 4 numbers are 1, 6, 6, and 7. Now this one, it's easy for win. Let's heat things up with Hot Pick. And your lunchtime winning Hot Pick number is the number 1. Congratulations to all my Hot Pick winners. Again, the winning number is 1. Now, Cashpot players, you already know that you could win all of $280 for every $10 winning Cashpot bet. Let's get ready to play our Cashpot game for Thursday, May 2, 2024. Now we know you live to play it, but can you win it? Get ready to be a big Cashpot winner. Let's see what your lunchtime winning Cashpot number will be. And this afternoon's winning cashpot number is the number 5. Congratulations to all cashpot winners. Again, the winning number is 5. Now, let's mega your winnings and good luck. What is it gonna be for us this afternoon? And it is the white ball that has been selected. And now it is time for the monster winnings. So keep those tickets out. And here we go. And the balls are spinning. What will it be? Will we get the red ball? And it is the monster ball that has been selected. Now remember to go mega and monster 6 times per day for cashpot for more chances to win big. Again, the winning cashpot number is 5. The lucky mark is thief. And for mega, the white ball was selected for pick 3, pick 4, cashpot, and hot pig. And for monster, the monster ball was selected for cashpot. Now let's take a look at this afternoon's winning numbers. Congratulations to everyone who won. 16 winners so far. Money Time Jackpot keeps recording hits after hit. It could be your time next to hit it. So play Money Time Jackpot now, only at Supreme Ventures. And please do join us again at 3 p.m. for more games you love to play. I am Christina. Have a supreme afternoon.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures games every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
That was the lunchtime top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cashpot draws. Congratulations to all of today's winners. Join us again at 3 p.m. for another chance to win in hot pick and cashpot special pot draws. Now, Charlene, before we went to the cashpot break, you were in the process of telling us about being plagued by self-doubt and how you were able to rise above all of that.
Right. So I think I was at the part where I said, I went through a period of embarrassment and shame, right?
Yes.
I had to jump back there because I know some people are in that space, right? So when you have change, you'll definitely have resistance to change. And it looks different, it's scary. So what people don't understand, they will always tear down, right? So I had to first understand that, Char, they are not you. They don't understand you. They don't see what you see. It's not their vision, it's yours. It's your calling. You have a mandate to move forward to your vision and your calling. So I had to start blocking out, what people were saying or what they're not saying or what you think they're not saying. I had to do a deep, what do you call it? I'm looking for that word. Like I went into a rehab, right?
Okay.
I booked myself into rehab, but not with a therapist, with myself, because I was intentional. I was intentional about my future and my destiny. And that's one thing I want to resonate with people. You have to be intentional of how you want to show up and where you want to show up and who you're becoming. So I was very intentional about this new person that I'm trying to create. And in doing that, I had to just zone in. So what I would share, what I did was, I believe that God gave me this vision, right? And if he gave me this vision, he will also give me the pathway in order to get to this place. So I went back to him. I sought the Lord. I seek him, right? And that's how I went to the book, but we're not there yet, right? But that's how I just kind of put all my focus and my time, just kind of lock away, went into a period of isolation, where I just wanted to know who I am, who I was, and where I need to go. So it's like you're on a bus, you're at a bus stop. This is how I describe it to a friend. You're at a bus stop. You're going to always go in circle. You're going to miss your stop because you don't know where you're going. So first you have to know your destination, where you're going, right? And how you get there, which bus is going to take you to that place. So if you find yourself keep going in circles, like confusion, you have to stop for a moment. So that's what I had to do. I was going in circles. I stopped for a moment, right? I said, wait, where is it that you need to go? And how do you need to get there? So when the right bus come, right, I'm going to get on the bus. And when I saw other people jumping off the bus, like leaving me, friends leaving me, other people said, no, you're not in what we're in. So when they were coming off the bus, I know that that was not my bus stop. So I don't care if you want to leave me, I'm going to my destination. So you have to be focused. You have to know what you want, and you have to be intentional towards your goals. That was it for me.
Now, 2022 saw the birth of SDW Saving Lives, a nonprofit organization that helps at-risk youth. As the founder and CEO, can you share some success stories or impactful moments from your work with the organization?
So, oh my gosh, there are so many. And so the organization was birthed out of me initially wanted to do event planning, was trying to host an event for someone, but it didn't work out that way. And during the process, I start getting calls from friends, 5 to be exact, who were having suicidal ideation, right?
Wow.
So they were having suicidal ideation, and it so happened that they called me during the process, had a plan, everything. And I found myself just praying, giving strategies, getting help, and just helping them out of that mindset, that negative mindset of just weighing down and wanting to die. And when you peel back the layers, you realize that it was purpose that was missing. When people are not purpose driven and they lack vision and clarity, right? The end result is you can't see. So it's death, right? So then I realized, man, God, what is this thing? Why, these kind of people are, attracted to me. So friends who knew, what I was doing, every time there's something in the news about suicide and stuff like that, they would be sending it to me. And I'm like, what? So anyways, my first product out of CVW Saving Lives was a conference I had about suicide prevention and awareness. And let me tell you, lives were saved, lives were transformed. I mean, it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And it lived beyond the day where I got a call to, visit Jamaica at a high school. Will not mention the name of the high school, where a child was experiencing suicidal ideation and even made an attempt. And, how can I assist? And I'm like, I'm going to be so honest. I'm like, me? I am a nurse. I am not going back to school for psychology. So this is not my area. This is not my space. But then God was showing me the mindset, right? How do you operate? So mental model is the blueprint for outcome. So what you see on the outcome is how they're thinking, what they're feeding their mind. So if you can target the mind and help to shift the mind, then you will end up shifting the outcome. So a lot of the stories were, we had a retreat. We had a 3 days retreat last year, right, in Ochias, Jamaica. And it was so successful. We had coaching session for the teens. We had art and painting. We had it's so much. We had a team building exercises. There were so many things that were going on. It was free of cost, no charge to the participant. And out of that, we started a mentorship program, right, with about 2 kids out of the program. And I must say that there was one child at the venue, at the event, who was experiencing suicidal ideation and had a plan, right?
Wow.
And I want to interject right here. I can't talk about CVW Saving Lives without mentioning this person. And her name is Deborah Della Pena. So she's a clinical psychologist that works in Jamaica. And when I reach out to her, because I'm saying, listen, I don't have the psychology piece and I'm not going to go back to school to learn that, right? But I know that God gave me this call. So how can I navigate and execute in this space? So God said, listen, I'm asking you to lead this group. So I formed a group of people. They're all practicing in their own entity. So I have psychologists working with me. I have therapists working with me. I have coaches working with me. I have teachers, social workers working with me. So what we do is we come together and provide a safe space for students to share what is going on the inside and get help. And this woman collaborated with me, right? And we went to schools, we were at the retreat, and she was able to meet the psychological needs of these students in Jamaica.
Wow, Charlene, that is just really, really amazing, and I'm happy that you found it fit to get a team, and that is just such an important point, because a lot of persons will tell you that they are doing it on their own, or think that if they seek help and get other people to be a part of their passion project, that it's going to take away from them. But then the purpose is really to save lives, to impact lives. So I commend you for seeing that and taking it on a wider scope to invite the professionals to be a part of that. Based on your experience, from organizing the suicide prevention conferences, workshops, and leadership development retreats, what strategies have you found most effective in promoting mental wellness and resilience among teenagers and young adults?
All right. So strategies are, one, you have to find a space where you can let these children, adolescents, feel comfortable to come and share their story. They're going through so many things: trauma, abuse, some of it in the schools, in the household, right? And first, I want to share that we have to have a systematic thinking, right? Have a system thinking where we're all interdependent and interconnected. So it's not a government thing, or it's not a church thing or a school thing. It's a community. Everybody is involved, right? So if we start looking in that way, how can we help? How can we be more supportive? I know there are groups in Jamaica right now. You have the Child Protective Services, but they are swamped. They're backlogged because they can't see all the kids that are going through trauma and stuff going on. So if more organizations would come up. There's Gift Jamaica in Ocherias. I worked with them last year. Tremendous group. They support the kids, and they facilitate their other needs. So, for example, assist them with homework, team building, building on their emotions, stuff that they're going through. So one of the big strategy is getting more support, government funding these groups, not just competent people, but people who are willing. There are people who are willing and feel that this is a need and an era that they want to target, and they are coming in to support these groups. For example, my group, I am not originated in Jamaica. I am a Jamaican, but I operate from overseas. So every time I do a group, a missions group, I have to come to Jamaica. And a lot of times when I come, I get no funding. This is all
So you're doing
on my
it out
own.
of pocket.
Out of pocket, right? And then you have the interest and the willingness, but there's so much you can do and no more. So I just believe that if people we could draw awareness, which you're doing through this platform, and I thank you for that. But if we could draw more awareness that these children are the future, they're the next generation. So if we could just invest in them, a strategy I like to use is journaling. It's very effective. If we can get these kids to write out what they're feeling, their emotion, release the pain that they're harboring inside on paper, let it out. It's a helping process. It does help. There is research to back this, that journaling does help, right? Even for us, if we're going through as adults, we're going through things, and you start to write it out. The Bible tells you, write your vision clear, right? So if you start writing out how you feel and your emotion, you start to release or relinquish some of that pain that you're exercising. So big thing for me, journaling, giving them a space and opportunity to share what they're going through. Listen, parents. I can't say this anymore. Parents, listen, because 3/4 of the time it's in the house. It's happening, Kashima, in the household, right? Or, a neighbor, a cousin, an uncle, a friend, right? And you know what? They don't have a safe space. They don't have a safe place. They don't have anybody that they could tell, right? And another thing is be vigilant and look. What they're doing now, I see that is very rampant, is the cutting of self, the self-harm, right? So take time to look at your children, your kids. It doesn't matter how old they are. Take time to look at them, be more concerned, tune into what is happening with your teenagers. That's how they can start getting help.
And I don't know if you have gotten a chance to see the news, or just even from browsing social media, you'll realize that currently schools across Jamaica, there are lots of fights, and some of them, of course, end tragically. Do you feel like some of the points, the tips that you mentioned could be applied in a situation like that to, say, quell the violence in schools as well?
All right. So based on investigation and research, because I work with the schools, right? And I have connection. Like I do a research where I get surveys from teachers who are on the field, having the direct contact. What I realized is there's three, say you have a school with 1,200 students, there are only three guidance counselors in that school. Three guidance counselors. So let us work out the maths. You have 1 to 600 students. These guidance counselors are overwhelmed. Because remember, I said before, it's the mental model that shows up in the behavior. So the outcome that we're seeing, that's just the manifestation. That's just the signs and the symptoms, right? So when we put on the band-aid and say, okay, we're going to take this one out of school, we're going to imprison this student because of what they did, the violence that they did, that is not solving the problem. So we have to get to the root of the problem. And I think we need to put more attention into the school setting and the homes. How can we help them? The mental model, what they're thinking, what are we feeding these kids? It's pure crime and violence and negativity and abuse we're feeding the children in whatever platform. It could be the music, it could be just by the negative speaking from the parents, right? Or the abuse, but we're feeding them pure negativity. So if you're giving them pure negativity, it's pure negativity you're going to get out, right? So we need to change up the modules that we have implemented in the school. We need to be to put more focus and emphasis on behavior management and modification. And if we can target that source, the thinking, I think the outcome for Jamaica would be different with the kids. Because we're saying that these kids are bad and they don't know how to behave. But when you tear back that layer, you realize that there is a reason why this child is behaving the way they are behaving.
They're acting out.
Right. Some of it is a medical issue, right? And some of it is behavioral issue, right? Lack of something. So they're searching for something and they're not getting that. So they go to different sources and avenues to bring out what they're feeling. Right. So the source, the band-aid is not working out anymore. We need to be more analytical and go to the root cause, which is the mental model that we have for these kids.
Be more proactive instead of reactive.
That is my opinion. That is my opinion. I think that is where the problem is.
And very, very, very solid. Very, very solid. We can only try it. I'm really hoping that you have guidance counselors, principals, and even parents just listening, because parents, of course, need to play a more active role in the homes, like you suggested earlier. No, Charlene.
And don't leave so much pressure. Like, the teachers. I don't want this to go off wrong. The teachers, they're doing an excellent job. Some of them, most of them. The guidance counselors, they're doing a tremendous job. The nurses in the school are doing great. But there's so much that they can do. They need more support. They are exhausted themselves because they have a timetable that they have to abide by. Guidance counseling in the school is once per week. So if a child is going through something, and that class is geared towards hygiene and career development. So if a child is going through something, they really don't have the space to verbalize what they're going through. And the only time the guidance counselor may see them again is if there's a flare-up. When the flare-up is when the thing gone bad.
Again, being reactive instead of proactive.
Sure.
And some schools truly just have like one guidance counselor. So, that is definitely something that needs to be addressed. I was browsing social media and I saw somebody said, we, instead of sending children to detention, you may want to introduce them to meditation. And I totally subscribe to that. That is definitely something to help them tap into. And at any age, like just learn how to meditate, learn how to use your words, learn how to express yourself. Yes. So instead of fighting, these are things that you will, look into.
I 100% agree with you.
Your book, Mornings with the Holy Spirit, offers readers a 42-day journey of prayer, fasting, and consecration for accelerating their lives and fulfilling their destinies. What inspired you to write this book, and how do you incorporate spirituality into your coaching and empowerment practices?
So
I just had to grab your book as well.
Yeah, I have it too. I have it. All right, thank you. But first and foremost, I would not be where I'm at without God. That's point, right? So my credit is to the Holy Spirit. That's my credit. So how I came about this book, I was inspired by my navigation, right? So I was transitioning through my life challenges, right? And in transitioning through the life challenge, there were certain things I was uncertain of. So remember in the beginning, I said to you, God gave me this vision, right? So because God gave me this vision and he said, listen, you're going to be this great leader and director and, all these great things. I'm like, God, this greatness that you're calling me to, I really don't know how to navigate in this space, right? Friends couldn't help me. People couldn't help me. People could, Google couldn't help me. So I went back to God, right? So in my quiet time, so initially it birthed out of a prayer group that I had with some friends, and we were praying and we were doing a 21-day fast, right? But then after that, I went into 42 days of fasting, right? Just seeking God for clarity, for instructions, the way to navigate, the way to go. So in that quiet time, every morning, right, in my devotion, so it's actually a devotional, right? But it has strategies. It's so good, so good. Not because I'm the author, but it's so good, right? So in my personal devotion, so this is not something that I had anticipated to share with the world. It was in my private space. So in my devotion each morning, I would look up a scripture, I would go through the scripture, just read, meditate on the scripture, and just see what the Lord had, was placing on my heart for that season. I was going through a lot of things. I was going through betrayal, negative thoughts, isolation. So if you go through the book each day, you have a chapter or a day that speaks about a particular thing. So day one is about dismantling negative thoughts, because I couldn't start without dismantling the negative thoughts. So the day one, I was like, God, I had so many negative thoughts that were weighing me down. And I believe that your outcome is dependent on how you think and process things. So if you want more, you have to start thinking different. So I had limited mindset thinking. I used to procrastinate. I had self-doubt, all those things. I was a people pleaser, right? To my own detriment. So I said, God, I had to get rid of these negative attitudes and attributes. So how I do this, right? Block out the naysayers. So that day, I had a scripture for that day. Then I started to write out the insights that I got for each day. And because I love to journal, right? I believe you have to release it, you have to write it. So there's a space for each day in the devotional where after you do your devotion, you read your scripture. Now, what is it that is inside of you that you want to release? Because, when you start meditating, the thoughts start coming clearer. So I started writing out the plans. I start writing out the vision. I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. So everything started becoming clearer and clearer. So towards the end, after I completed the 42 days, I'm like, man, I got so much clarity. I was able to revamp my coaching website. I was mobilizing, I was moving. I did a conference about pivot with grace for women, and the things were just coming. I was just accelerating, and I was just fulfilling. So everything just started coming. I'm like, man, gosh, this 42 days, right? So I call it 42 days of prayer, fasting, and consecration, right? Consecration meaning isolation, dedicated time with God, right? Quiet time where you zone in. And then it's for accelerating your life and fulfilling your destiny. So if there's someone who may be on the same journey like I was on, and I think success is continuous, right? I don't think it's a destination, like you reach a place and you just reach. I think it's a continuous work and journey, because I feel like we always level up, right? So for this season, this is where God wants me to be. And after this season has expired, I have to go back again and level up again. So this book is needed, is a lifelong book, is a longevity book, right? It's not just a one-time quick fix and you park it, because change is continuous. Right. So you're going to change again into something, because suppose you like something else after that, right? You go back again and you seek God and you have your quiet time and you figure out yourself and figure out where you're going. So that's how I came about with the book. At the end, God said, listen, you're going to share this with others. And I fought with him initially. I said, no, this is my personal space. But he said, no, right? And that's who I am. I give to others. So there you have it. I released the book, Mornings with the Holy Spirit, a 42-day journey of prayer, fasting, and consecration to accelerate.
Where is it available, especially for persons who are listening and they want their very own copy?
You want your very own copy, you can head on to Amazon, just plug in Mornings with the Holy Spirit. And if you're seeing this video, the book has a pink and purple with rose gold, right? So Mornings with the Holy Spirit, you can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. I think we're in Target now, Walmart, online. And if you want an autograph copy, which is limited, you can go to my website at cvwcoach.com.
Oh, Charlene, amazing. Look here, no? And this morning my message was about change. And that's just feeling your energy from just going through your bio, taking a deep dive and, deciding how the interview will go. And here you are just putting the icing on the cake, with this morning talking about embracing change. And here we are. So, everything is coming full circle. But looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, both personally and professionally?
So personally, I'm at a space right now, at a level where I have peace. And that is my definition of success. So peace is the new success. Because you can have all the monies, the accolade, everything, and you don't have peace, right? So I'm boasting in this space right now where I'm at peace. I'm at peace with everything. So, when you go to the transition and the change, so I'm at peace with where I'm at. I'm at peace with who I am, and I'm at peace with how I show up, right? In my own authenticity. How I see myself in the future, I want to maintain peace. So I'm going to do everything possible to maintain this peace that I'm exuding at this time. Professionally, so I just completed my MBA, right?
Hey,
And as a matter of fact, it's a double whammy, right? It's a double whammy. So I have a master's in business administration, and I also have a master's in healthcare administration. I also did a program in assisted living facility healthcare administrator. So basically, owning my own healthcare facility. I still love the healthcare industry. I still love patients. I still love to care and to just see them transform. So I will be opening my own healthcare facility. But in the meantime, I offer my services through CVW Saving Life as the executive director. And I see this growing, right? We're in our second year. Also, as a consultant to business, right? I'm also a business improvement strategist, where I help business to navigate resistance to change to be effective in how they perform and grow. So that's where Charlene is at right now. And the coaching program, I'm not going to leave that out because my phone is blowing up right now with lots of texts and messages.
Everywhere
That story that you shared. I mean, I need help. And this is what God called me to do, Kashima. And if I can get the time to say, in my navigation, the Lord told me you will not be a lie. And what that meant for me is you have to embrace your authenticity. So sometimes you want to coach people and navigate them through space that you have never been through, right? So it's a lie. So you have to use transparency. So with my story, I went through changes. I was able to navigate resistance, overcome the limited mindset, and reach where I'm at now, right? Which is success for me. It may not be the same for somebody else, but this is my success, which is peace. So I am living that success story. And I am now able to give that to others. So you can't give what you don't receive. So because I was able to receive the power of resilience, I can give others resilience. You're not going to give it to you like that, but I can show you the steps.
Yes.
How
absolutely.
to bounce back, right? How to bounce back, just how to bounce back, because we're all going through a rough time and we need encouragement and support in order to bounce back when things don't go the way we planned or expected.
And this is the reason, like, this show was born, like Road to Success, the journey, and even the naming of it, because everybody's on a journey, and success for different people has or will have a different meaning.
Right.
So, that's the purpose for it. But we are on the button, and I cannot let you go without asking you two final questions. One, mother, wife, nurse, author, and nonprofit leader, while still prioritizing your mission of empowering others. How do you balance your various roles? And I know the role of mommy is vital and probably the most important.
All right. So
what's
the key is priority.
Like?
So one word. Priority. And as a nurse, that's a skill you have to master. Priority, right? Time management and priority. And I execute that very well. I may not get it right all the time, but priority. So in a synopsis, what is priority to you? What is priority for you? right? So even though I have purpose and I have business and I have finances, and that's not my priority, right? So my first priority is to me, myself first, right? Which is a whole being, my health, how I feel, my mentality, the space that I'm in, because I cannot give if I'm not whole, right? So my first priority is me. So I do everything me first. So I have a timetable, and on the timetable, it's me first. I have to fix me first. I have to serve me first. And then after
And that
that,
is not selfish.
no. And then after that, my family is priority. So my husband, my daughter kind of trump my husband in a little way, the side and side, but remember she's a child, so she's dependent
Yes.
on us, right? So my daughter, my husband, my mother, my mother is with us, and my grandmother, my family. So family. And then after that, then you have the business. And then after the business, you have purpose, right? Because purpose need business to function, right? So that is my ladder, right?
Your
That's
hierarchy,
the ladder.
yeah.
So
And
the
and for
key
people
is
who are
priority.
listening and they're finding it alarming, without your mental wellness and health, everything else will crumble. So that's very, very, very important. And
Priority.
finally, Charlene, based on your own experiences and journey, can you share some insights or advice for individuals facing adversity or seeking to make positive changes in their lives?
Wow, big question.
We
All
have to
right.
end with a bang.
End with a bang. End with a bang. All right. So I'm on this journey right now that I call a surrendered life yields the promise, right? And my spirituality plays a big role in where I'm at now, right? And so for me, it may not resonate with everybody because of your belief, right? So for me, everything is from God, and He leads and direct my path. So I kind of lose my thoughts a while ago. So with that being said, you say how I repeat the question again.
If you can share some insights or advice for
Yes.
individuals facing adversity or seeking to make positive changes in their lives.
Right. So what I was leading to, why I started with talking about my spirituality and my belief is my movement is all guided by biblical principles, right? So the word of God is what keeps me, what restores me, what keeps me going. So I will have a Bible verse. I use Bible verses. Greater is he that is within you than he that is in the world, right? Trust in the Lord. So God said, I have to trust in him that he will lead and direct my path. So these are some of the affirmations or the principles that guide me, propels me to move forward. Unlearning the past, right? Because you're going to this new place. Everything that you know is not going to work over here. So unlearn the past. Be willing to be open and learn new things and new processes. Seek help when needed, right? You're not going to know everything in this space. I can't do everything, right? So I need help, I need support. Block out negativity as much as you can. I know it's very hard, but you have to learn to block out negativity. And finally, embrace who you are. I can't leave off this line without talking about embracing yourself, because that's the era that I'm in. I'm embracing who I am. And this is coming from a person who was a people pleaser, who needed validation from others to say that you can do this and you will do this. So breaking off out of that bondage and mindset, I am confident now in who I am. And I know that everybody's not for me, but there's somebody who loves and appreciates me. So with that
Ah,
being said, I own my authenticity and I move in where I am needed and where I am valued.
drops mic.
Drops
No,
the
sure.
mic.
That is really awesome. And can I tell you something? The messages are coming in for you on WhatsApp. Everywhere I look, I see messages. This person says this interview is what you call triggering. Triggers and triggers and triggers. What a
Oh
beautiful
gosh.
testimony. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. We need her back next week. Oh
Yes,
gosh.
yes, part two.
This person says, This is a whole heap of message, you know. It's like everything is saying. So it started out with, I need Charlene to be my doctor. Excellent work. Keep aiming, keep gaining. Thanks, Kish, for exposing the best to us. And this person says 30 years. It's time for transition, you know. Kishima, great influence. They also said hashtag suicide. I wrote the word before. Don't read this, okay? Several times. Oh my goodness. So people, like this one person summarized to say triggers, triggers, triggers. This other person says, what an inspirational, informative, and productive interview, Kish. Big up to Charlene Vassell, Wright. It's coming from Carrie. And Ricochet, he says, wow, Kish, this is so right. Listen to that voice inside and turn the outside noise off. Jaja, big up Miss Vaseline Fuide. You have to make the transition from you want success. Pay naysayers no mind and find you. Sending also, he says, a happy birthday to Biggie, Father Biggs, and also happy birthday to his grandfather, Father Surgeon in Zion. All right, thank you so much for sharing. And this one says, it's Martha the Barber in Augustone locked in. Absolutely inspiring interview. Keep finding the stars, Kish. This person says, big up to Charlene Vassell, Wright. Is coming from Ricardo Porteous. And this person says, big up to Charlene Vassell, Wright. What an amazing interview. I absolutely love her. This person says, very interesting interview. I love the grandmother role, you know, and it's a learning process. It's coming from Myrna in Cascade in Portland. And this person says, Kish, what an RTS today. You have to replay this next week and push back whoever line up without apologies. This need a replay before part 2. This lady has found herself and purpose with the Most High. Amazing, amazing. Charlene, thank you so much. Continue being great. And I'm really happy that, like I was saying to you, that I felt like I was led into inviting you on for Road to Success. And I have been following the works that you were doing, and nothing happened before the time. And the time was absolutely perfect. No, this person says, I would love her to be my doctor.
Give them the info. You can find me.
And
you can tell them where to find me.
Tell us how to find you. Give us your social media handles.
So my social media handle is my name, Charlene Vassell, Wright, without the hyphen, right? And I'm also at CVW Saving Lives. Or you can go to my website at CVW Coach. That is COACH.com.
Amazing. Charlene Vassell, Wright, thank you so much. Continue being awesome.
Thank you for having me.
And this was very special to me, you know, fellow Westwoodite. Big up.
Fellow Westwoodite, yes. I love it. I just love the work that you're doing, and thank you for the platform and the opportunity. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you too.
It may only be another minute. It may only be another minute.
On that note, stick and stay. We're going to go for a quick break. Soon come.
Come and enjoy your Wendy's Dave's Classic, our signature square burger.